Hey everyone, how's it going? Erkenhelm here. Today I have an old school leader battle video for you. I have with me, this is Shade.
Hello.
Shade, this is going to be your team from PAX Prime 2012.
Correct. This is the Maxie Elite team.
So we're going pretty far back this time.
Way, way back. This is black and white days.
This is, I think, 2012 would be the third year that the Pokemon League was running.
I'm not sure about that one. 2011 was the first.
I thought it was 2010.
Was it? It may well be. I know that it started off very small and has since ballooned. So, it could very well be.
So, tell us about the character you were, the Pokemon you're bringing, all that stuff.
So, 2012 Prime was the battle royale between all the different villain leader heads. I was playing Maxie, the leader of Team Magma, and as I am a chick and not a dude, as Maxie is, the story justification for this was in the Ninetales Pokedex entry. If you pull a Ninetales tail, you're cursed for 1,000 years. Story goes, the shiny Ninetales that I'm running on my team cursed Maxie into being a chick.
So, if you can remember, because it's been a while, how did you pick these Pokemon for your team? Because you don't see all of these like on Max's team going through the games.
So, on his individual team, you do not see all of these Pokemon. However, bits and pieces, everything except the Leafeon, I believe, the Leafeon and the Ninetales, which at the time was considered a necessity for the Drought ability, can be found on his minions' teams, either in the anime, the manga, or the games themselves.
So taking ideas from pretty much all different sources.
Yes, as much as possible, trying to keep in theme with the leader of the land, or the champion of the land theme for Maxie.
It's definitely an interesting looking team. And I know as we go through, you see some kind of new things that went around in 2012 with Black and White.
That's correct. They've since been brought up and given some slightly modified movesets to be a little more in keeping with current meta. However, they don't hold up as well as they did back then, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's much different feel and a much different metagame from back then.
Oh, certainly. I mean, permaweather was a huge, huge asset back then. The Archie leader, Snorkus, was actually running a Politoed with Drizzle as well. So permaweather was definitely an acknowledged part of the meta back then.
Yeah, now it's, was it 5 turns base or something like that?
5 turns unless you're holding a item to extend it to 8.
Alright, so let's check out this battle and see what your team can do. You're going to start out with your Crobat here.
Always lead with him to scout. He was an incredible, incredible scout at the time. I could U-turn into someone who could soak, a super effective move. People knew that I was a champion of the land using a lot of ground-ish type Pokemon, as well as the stereotypical Zubat that every Rocket grunt gets, every Magma grunt gets, every villain grunt gets at some point in the games. So it was fairly easy to predict if they were going to come at me with a Rock Slide or an Ice Beam or a Surf.
Crobat is a very fast Pokemon. Basically, you need to U-turn, bring it out, you're pretty much guaranteed to get that off and switch the Pokemon you need.
And keep him safe for the next thing, yes. He is sashed, though I don't get to use it in this case. And that definitely saved him more than a couple times. Unfortunately, not very bulky.
Yeah, most of his stats are his speed and his attack. But this, on the other hand, is pretty bulky.
Yes. And slow as all get out, so it doesn't matter that you've got Sticky Web down. In the original set, I was running Hammer Arm on him as well, just because slow is better. But also the base 100 speed on that was, or base 100 attack on that is not to be brushed off.
See here, you went for the Ice Punch, which would have been good against the Pidgeot. Unfortunately, not nearly as good against the Arcanine.
Yes. Not against your Arcanine, especially.
But, a good prediction here. You knew it was coming. You went out to your Camerupt, which is nothing's gonna happen with that Willow.
Nope. Camerupt surprisingly useful in this match. Not as useful back then. Canonically, a must-have for Maxie. However, there's not a lot of viable sets on him. His typing means that he's super weak to any water attack, and his bulk is not sufficient enough to soak any of it. You can see that he's using a Mega Stone, which would not have been the case back then. Back then he was using an Air Balloon, as Mega Stones had not yet been introduced. I was hoping for you to use a water move on that.
Yeah, get your Storm Drain there. This Tentacruel, though, does not have a Water-type move, oddly enough.
Really?
Yeah, and I've been meaning to change it because I have a Giga Drain on it, which looked better in theory than it does in practice.
Gotcha.
But I haven't gotten around to switching that.
Would you be moving it to Scald, do you think?
I would probably go with Surf for the extra power, because I prefer with Tentacruel if he's out to get a Toxic instead of a Burn. Or Sludge Wave. So just have a stab move on it.
Sure, and be able to take care of the fairies. I added a Steel move or two to this team as a whole as well, which would not have been at all used back then. Back then, you only had basically rock types that were weak to Steel. But now with fairy types being so prevalent, you really, really need to be able to do something about them.
Yeah.
It was fun running stuff back then. Again, but the predictions were fairly straightforward. Someone would bring a water move or an ice move, and between the special bulk of Cradily and the physical defense of Rhyperior, I would usually be able to soak and turn that into momentum for my team.
So Cradily is not going to be doing a whole lot to my Espeon right now.
No, it's got to recover Ancient Power, Giga Drain, Toxic set. I may have run Ice Beam or Scald on it back when. Or not Scald, Surf. And Magic Bounce. Magic Bounce was also not something you needed to be concerned about. Yeah. The only problem with Toxic would be if you missed, or if they put out a Poison type, which were not particularly common.
So that's going to take care of that Cradily. And they're going to bring out your Leafeon here.
Sun should still be up for Leafeon, which is the Chlorophyll double speed.
It's going to be a lot faster. Pretty much outspeed everything, even with that Sticky Web.
Double speed is not to be underestimated. It definitely surprised a few people. His Leafeon is actually fairly fast to start with. On the original set, I also had a priority quick attack for both the Ninetales and the Leafeon.
Yeah. Quick attack, the priority is very good to have.
Oh my gosh, yes, you take someone down to a sliver of health, but you're too slow to deal with it, especially since I have 3 very slow Pokemon on my team to start with. The Rhyperior, the Cradily, the Camerupt.
So you got a crit there, so it's going to do pretty good damage.
I believe you've got Reflect up, too.
Yeah, I did get both my screens up.
Yeah.
So I went there, I knocked off your weakness policy, which wasn't going to be a big deal. I don't have anything super effective against you. But then you get the second crit there, it's going to take out the Tentacruel, and the Reflect goes down, which is going to be helpful.
But not as much. I'd considered changing out at this point and switching into Rhyperior just to soak, but without Leafeon's extra boost of speed from Chlorophyll, and your Sticky Web down on the ground, I probably wouldn't have been able to outspeed and deal any further damage.
Mhm. So in comes the Rhyperior. Gonna hit it with the U-turn. It's not gonna do a whole lot.
His physical bulk is really, really top notch.
Mhm.
Of course, I know what's coming up next, and even though the Intimidate's down, I gotta hope.
Yep. Does put you at -1. The super effective move, though, is still gonna do some pretty good damage.
And I can always hope for another crit. Leafeon was kind enough to oblige me with 2.
Mhm.
I'm not fond of lower accuracy moves, but high crit moves I'm always in for.
Mhm. Speaking of low accuracy moves, is the Will-O-Wisp. Fortunately for me, it's not going to miss. Otherwise, I would have been knocked out by that drill run.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to allow me to survive, though.
Rhyperior's only glaring weakness is its special defense, and with Cradley to back it up, usually, it was kind of crazy to watch in action.
Mm-hmm. Just gonna expect the ground type move, so I go to my Dragonite. Just get a free switch there.
And we all know what's coming next with your Marvel scale weakness policy.
It's a great combination.
It really is. It's fantastic. I don't think there's anything on the board that can one-shot it.
They're not on your team, but there are some things that can. It basically requires a stab ice type move from a physical attacker.
So like a Sneasel?
Yeah, a Weevil. I've been one shot by an ice punch from a Weevil.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Mamoswine, maybe?
Maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head because I think the Weevil was the first one, so that's the one that sticks out.
Mm-hmm.
But there has been maybe half a dozen times, and every time it's an ice type move because that 4 times effectiveness.
Gotcha. Yeah, the camera up is really unfortunate because there's only so many things you can run with it. It's so slow. It has some pretty good attack, but it's so slow and it doesn't have enough defensive stats to soak anything. With the air balloon, at least I could hope to switch in on Earthquake and use Rock Polish,
Mm-hmm.
but the set has since been changed for Mega Camerupt,
Yeah.
and he's not great. He's definitely iconic and definitely a requirement to run,
Mm-hmm.
but that's definitely part of being a gym leader and choosing Pokemon that are not necessarily advantageous, but fit thematically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sticking to the character is probably one of the more important things. Don't necessarily need to be Pokemon that are overpowered or really strong or anything like that.
So long as they thematically fit. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So that's gonna do it for that battle. I got a good look at your team there.
Thank you for the battle. It
Thanks
was
for-
unfortunate on my side, but some things do not age well.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for bringing out this team again.
For this
This is gonna be our oldest team on our old school leader series so far. Going pretty far back there.
I'm calling out the other leaders, all the other elites from the Battle Royale. That means Archie, Giovanni, N, and the Platinum guy. Galaxus? No. Top right.
Top right.
Cyrus. That's
Cyrus,
it.
there you go. Okay.
Calling you all out. Forget teams.
Now, if you guys want to do it, just let me know. I'll be happy to get a video made. So, thank you everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed that trip down memory lane back to 2012. As usual, links to everywhere you can find us on the internet will be down in the description below. Applications to be a gym leader at PAX South are open for only a couple more days. They close Friday, which would be the 16th. So you're running out of time. If you are interested in that, make sure you go do that. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. And as you can see, Jade here has been doing it since at least 2012.
2012, yep.
So it is a lot of fun. Thanks again everyone for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.